People of the internet, why does everyone hate Andrew Schulz? Well, that is what we're going to find out right meow.
Over the course of his career, Andrew Schulz has built his name as a comedian who believes no topic is taboo.
Blackface is wrong, it's racist, you cannot do it, okay? Under no circumstances, cannot do it. Then you see them Navy SEALs commercials, you're like, all right, well, kind of, sometimes you could do it. You on a Latin girl's stomach, her belly button just opens up and takes that in, dog. Like, hungry hippos in there, dog.
Through the massive success of the Flagrant podcast that even outgrew his original launchpad of The Brilliant Idiots with Charlemagne, Schulz went from playing second fiddle to being a star. But while his podcast would go on to do insane numbers, it also had its drawbacks. As where most fans saw what he had to say as just comedy, some started viewing his jokes as racist, conspiratorial, or even attempts to pander to the right-wing audience. And before he knew it, he was facing as much backlash as he was fanfare. At its peak, Flagrant pulled millions per episode, but now, many episodes barely crack 500k. It even dropped from top 3 on Spotify to barely entering the top 50. So, what could be the reason for this major downturn? Could it be?
That's one of the crazier stories of 2025 is the loss of listeners in the Rogan sphere. Not all of them. Theo Vaughn is kind of holding his own in the podcast space. But you have to look at 2025 alone, how many listeners and people have just decided to ditch them. Joe Rogan at the start of 2025 had lost half of his listeners, which was something like 6 million. And then you look at Andrew Schulz, his most recent videos are like 200K. The channels, the big channels that make fun of the Rogan sphere do anywhere from they average anywhere from 2 to 500K for an average video. And then sometimes over 1 million or more for like a video everybody likes. And these guys, they're just going down. It's actually, if you put Andrew Schulz against those bigger comedy critique channels and you said which one is more profitable, I actually think it's more profitable to make fun of Andrew Schulz in the Rogan sphere than it is to be Andrew Schulz. As far as YouTube, right? And his little podcast videos. And I don't even think he's in the top 50 anymore on Spotify. I remember in another video we looked and we didn't find him. Andrew Schulz, and especially the fan base, act like nothing happened, and the fan base is rather clueless because they come at you, he's one of the top podcasts, he gets millions of views. Well, they're not paying attention to the numbers. They're just remembering Andrew Schulz at his peak when Andrew Schulz was doing well. But I can honestly tell you, from looking at the podcast numbers, from looking at the Spotify numbers, he's not doing that great. You know, he's not making huge money on YouTube. He's making good money, but not like what you would expect. And I would hope his comedy is doing well enough that it could pay for his lavish, like LA lifestyle New York, sorry. Oh man, I shouldn't have said that, huh? His New York lifestyle because I just don't know how you afford it off of YouTube and Spotify alone. And here's the other thing is once sponsors start to pick up and realize, then he's going to lose sponsorships. So that his sponsorship money probably is more than his YouTube revenue. So are we, if I just dug into the comedy side and looked at the things, you could probably get a good idea. But his career is like slowly dying. And it's a drastic downturn. He's lost over 60, 70, 80%, not 80, 60 probably % of his views and listens. People see, this is what I say. You will always, when you say something about the Rogan sphere, People always curse you, tell you the best, right? But I have this thing, and I like to put the thing that proves it in front of this statement. So at this one, analytics, or I could put stats there, don't lie. People do. And that's the focus you have to have when dealing with like the backlash of speaking out against the Rogan sphere, because they're not watching the numbers. They're like a company that was successful and then something went wrong and they've just been going down the drain for a little while, and they keep pretending like they're the big shot. Meanwhile, like they're not paying their workers. You know, they have to pay the contractor that fixed the oven, but they don't have the money. You know, that kind of story, right? It's all a facade. And I think Andrew Schulz, and I always told you, there's something off about him. I think Andrew Schulz is in a giant facade mode. Because I don't pay attention. You know, when I look at this stuff, people say it's subjective and stuff like this, but there's always truth in all of these things, right? There's always something, because what these guys do is they want to say this stuff to you, then they want to flash something in front of your eyes, and you don't have time to like analyze it. You know, when someone just wants to do something quick and they said they did it and then just move on, but you're like, wait, you still owe me $50. You only gave me $2. You know what I mean? And it's just like that. It's that con man mentality. Just give you a little bit, just enough to make you keep buying, right? And I think Andrew's downfall is really coming. The numbers. And here's the crazy thing about Flagrant is how do Andrew and Akash split outside of sponsorships? If all they have to live on, how do you pay for that set? How many people have to get paid on Flagrant? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The two other guys plus Akash. And then you probably have a producer. Do you see? How is he going to keep affording that? At some point, if not now, his comedy, if he's still making good money in that, is funding this. There's no way with those views and those Spotify listens that you should be paying for that. You should come on down to my house, and my game room is named my mom's basement, and I'll let you sit in the chair, and you should just record your videos like that.
Could it be the fact that fans started calling him out for constantly interrupting guests?
So I'm in London. Diddy had previously hit me up to say, hey, listen, stop with my side chick.
Basketball nicknames. Earl Monroe, Earl the Pearl, Black Jesus.
Novak
and
Kyrie.
Novak. Do you see the drop in creativity?
No,
That's what we're
Novak
saying.
Kyrie works. Like, my dude's going to do some extraordinary things because he hasn't been vaccinated. Come on, stop playing. Anyway, so I'm in. Hold on, this all makes sense.
Fast talking out. Fast talking out. I love that.
Stop
He's good.
it.
He's
No,
good.
stop it.
This
Stop
guy's
it.
good.
No.
This guy's good.
I got to say the story, okay?
Belittling them?
Are you in a relationship? What's going on?
You're
Why
gonna
do you
love
look
this.
at me with these faces like it's difficult?
She can't control that.
Is listening hard for you? This is what it looks like when you're listening. This is you listening, right? This is you.
And allegedly forcing laughs?
By the way, I gotta ask you something.
Yeah.
The mustache.
It's not even a question. It's just a statement.
Or the fact that many of his viewers feel that he is trying way too hard to seem deep and smart, while forgetting what made people like him in the first place.
I love Schultz
What are you
epiphanies.
talking about?
Schultz epiphanies are my favorite.
Yo,
He repeats a statement. He's like,
that's crazy though.
It's your boy Luesta, and today we're gonna go through the series of events that led Andrew Schulz to the unfortunate point that it seems he finds controversy at every turn. But to understand how it went so wrong, we need to first understand what he did right to gain the spotlight in the first place. The 41-year-old comedian known to the world as Andrew Schulz was born in New York City and actually fell into stand-up comedy by accident while managing a restaurant. He started performing in New York, then landed spots on MTV2, where he would then start to build his name in comedy. Then, in 2015,
I have to say the mustache made him evil. It did. Look at him there. He doesn't look like Andrew Schulz. You know what I mean? with that mustache, the mustache changed Andrew Schulz. I mean, that's what I think. He just doesn't feel as threatening like that. The mustache makes him look like a dictator. It just is what it is.
He teamed up with his close friend and Breakfast Club radio star, Charlemagne the God, to launch their Brilliant Idiots podcast. This quickly expanded his reach and built his platform even further, with the duo's dynamic often leading to a routine laugh fest among viewers. By the year 2017, Andrew Schulz had been grinding in New York's comedy scene for over a decade. Yet, no matter how good he was, the networks wouldn't give him a shot. In fact, Charlemagne was the first one to really give him any kind of potential boost in his profile. Eventually, he took matters into his own hands, spending $25,000 to film his own special, fully polished, and ready for whichever major platform was willing to make a deal. Still, every network passed. That's when Schulz realized he'd have to do it on his own terms. He started thinking differently, asking his friends how they watched stand-up, and they all said the same thing. Yeah, it was good, but I didn't finish it. That's when it all clicked to Andrew that dropping an hour special would be too long, and he thought of a brilliant idea to break the special down to 16 minutes and dropped it on YouTube in the form of 441.
This is not a comedy special. It's not a comedy documentary. This is a comedy experience. Welcome to the world of a New York comic. I hope you enjoy it.
This earned him the respect of the audience who admired his power.
I actually have never seen that, Is this what made him? Is that what people connected with? I'd watch it. I think Andrew Schulz, of all of them, could be the funniest. But the problem is with the rest of the Rogan spheres, they should have just stayed away from Rogan. You notice Rogan himself is successful, but he kind of ruins everybody else's stuff. And I know you'll hear the argument, well, kill Tony, but like that show's ruined. All of it's ruined. After Rogan, it's all ruined. Everyone, just think about it. Every time Rogan gets in or starts promoting or starts making claims, everything goes downhill. He's got a curse.
To stay away from the big corps and going rogue, even if the reality was that the big corporations simply weren't buying what he was selling at the time. But since he already had a decent following on YouTube, he decided to pursue it as if it was his own network. After his special took off, Schulz's YouTube kept growing. But keeping up with new material every week was tough. So he leaned into crowd work, using improv and roasts to create fresh content on a nightly basis.
Okay, how old are you guys? Just turned 18 yesterday. Everybody stop. Let me help you answer that question again, okay? Do not ever say just turned 18 again in your life.
And judging by the millions of views he pulled in on the compilations alone, it was clearly another decision that was a huge success for Andrew. He'd film every show, sometimes 7 in one weekend, just to get one viral clip. And clearly it worked, as his platform grew exponentially. Undeterred, Schulz was intent on continuing his growth.
Dude, doesn't he just look creepy right there? I mean, he just looks like, yeah, he'd write a law that would end you.
Even as COVID shut down what should have been a world tour. While other comedians hit pause, Schulz built a home studio and started dropping unfiltered, late-night style monologues. No network approval, no watered-down jokes, just raw takes that connected, especially when compared to the usual safe TV comedy.
Biden has been running for president from home. That's right, it's just him, his family, and 10,000 Crest white strips.
Biden is a man of principle. He likes his women like he likes his scotch, aged 12 years and stored in a cellar.
Another thing Schulz mastered was how to move via social media. He tailored every monologue to match the vibe of each platform. On Instagram, he'd hook you with a punchy one-liner, then hit you with a churn your phone prompt, making sure you didn't scroll past.
Masks, to wear or not to wear? That is the question. Turn your phone, let me show you something. First of all, how'd we even get into this mess? Central Park Karen, you twat. Turn your phone, let me show you something. Tekashi 6ix9ine, fresh out of prison, and I know exactly what he should do next. Run for president. Turn your phone real quick, let me show you something.
Schulz dropped 17 monologues in as many weeks, each averaging 2 million views. That's more than the comedy networks who spent 5 years overlooking him ever managed to pull. For all these reasons and more, Schulz carved out his own lane in comedy, turning a personal passion into a wildly successful career, and doing it in a way that no one had before. Still, he wasn't without his naysayers. There were moments where his success was belittled by even some of the biggest names in the game like Dave Chappelle, who dismissed his come up as if he didn't embody the essence of a true comedian, although Andrew Schulz brushed it off, as if it weren't that big of a deal.
So we're out there in Arizona, we're cooling, chilling by the pool, and all of a sudden people start hitting me up. They're like, yo, Chappelle's on, Rogan, throwing shade at you, right? And I'm like, there's no way did Chappelle be throwing shade or even hating that I would even be on his radar, right? Like, so someone sends me the clip and I check it out.
Like Andrew Schulz, the best example. 10, 15-minute rants with photographs and punchline after punchline after punchline, and then they did a whole Netflix special about it.
But that's not, like you say, that's not stand-up.
No.
Like this thing that you're describing, God bless him.
Yeah.
That's not what I do.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I look back at that clip now, and it was like Dave was trying to warn us or try and tell us something about these guys. I don't think, really, here's the deal with Dave Chappelle. I don't understand why he ever messed with these guys or with Joe Rogan. Maybe it's because they all came up in comedy and they all knew each other younger and it's some like friendship. But if we're talking about pure comedy, Dave Chappelle, when he gets going and when he's a storyteller, and his joke style to me is like he's telling you a story and he hits you with something in the beginning that you forget about, and then boom, he hits you in the end with a punchline. He has this style. And for me, I think that storytelling comedy is like a blend of so many different types of specialties, right? And all into one. I think it's like the highest form of comedy. I always love the storytellers because I think you're not just doing comedy, you're doing so many more things that just transcend anything comedy. But point is Dave could do really good stuff when he's on point. And being who Dave is, being as revered as he is all over the world, why would he ever mess with the Rogan sphere? And like I said, unless it's just like that, they were young together, they were in the comedy clubs, I get that. But outside of that, it makes no sense. And then look at how he's not looking Joe in the eyes. He's not just saying this about Andrew Schulz. I think he's saying this about all their comedy, because you see Joe is over there parroting, the same Joe Rogan. This is the best podcast show in the world. Kill Tony. Andrew Schulz revolutionized social media. 2 to 3 minute clips. Blah, blah, blah. And Dave doesn't have to tolerate Joe's bullshit. I think he was trying to warn us. And now look at it.
Like happening in real life.
Yeah.
I could throw a slideshow and the shit if I want to. But
Let me just give some context to this. I think I would have reacted the same way as Dave, given how I was described. I don't get what that shit is, a little slideshow.
We stand-ups, yeah.
Exactly, we're stand-ups. So it's just like, I understand that first reaction.
But for many viewers, Chappelle was onto something. Because while strategically using social media to market edgy, controversial jokes was one thing, it was his podcast that he was growing in the background, alongside brilliant idiots, that seemed to stir up the most drama. Let's rewind back to 2017, when Andrew paired up with the comedian Akash Singh, and started a podcast called Flagrant 2, named after the foul of the same name in basketball. This started out as a sports podcast, with the two comedians and their guests only occasionally talking about other topics. As it attracted a smaller, more niche audience, the podcast wasn't as big a success as his other ventures at first. Still, some people considered it their top 3 podcasts to listen to, and further advanced his fan base. Out of the 4 main podcasts I listened to, Andrew on 3 of them. This man is super talented at creating content. But the basketball angle didn't last long, as after the success of his 4-part special, which leaned heavily into politics, Andrew started seeing Flagrant 2 in that same direction, essentially making the podcast go from sounding like this
People think he held his
He
own
would
with
have
the
to get
best
good at
ever.
boxing.
But here's
He'd
the
have
thing.
to get good, yeah.
He'll
but-
only make money on 2 fights. He'll make money if they're smart. They'll put him up against some guy that they know he can beat.
Yeah.
Who will be somebody who's trash.
Yeah.
He'll make money, and then he'll fight a Canelo and just get destroyed.
Yeah.
To this.
Key to happiness in life is stop caring what short-haired fat bitches think. I promise you, your life will be happier and better if the second a girl with short hair who's overweight says anything at all, you just block it out. If they tweet, you should have your hair length and weight on your Twitter, and then you should be able to mute based on hair length and weight.
I don't know what's
and
so
you will
funny
be
at this
so
gospel.
happy in your life if you stop thinking, because that's the opinions that drive you crazy. Why would you say that? How could you have that opinion? Your opinion is problematic. You get my haircut. We got the same. If we got the same haircut.
He seemed really New York back then, you know? I understand this kind of podcast, people's appeal. Yeah, man, but it's hard. When these guys get successful for what they're doing, they get lots of money thrown at them, and they think they've got to like change it, or they get too stuck on themselves, or they think too high of themselves, right? And they lose the thing that people originally liked them for. It's always like that. I mean, I myself, I like really simple content. I like watching reaction videos. I mean, I like watching people watch reaction because I think there's more of a connection, and I'm just tired of everything being some corporate version of something. Or once a corporation, or once they get big, it all gets crazy, and I just don't like it. I grew up in the 90s, right? We used to hang out all the time. We used to play outside, And in this world, like watching somebody, chill out and watch a video with you, I think it's pretty cool. And same with this. It was just no frills, just guys hanging out, talking, saying what they want. And I see how that can be attractive to people, especially in this day and age. You open up any social media app and you're just immediately hit with ads. I mean, TikTok, as soon as you open TikTok, big ad right there. It's just crazy. They want us all to be zombies, I'm convinced. They just want us all to be mindless zombies and give them our money. That's it. That's all they want. They just want us to work and take our money.
You don't need to say nothing to me.
Another shift that happened during this time was the way Andrew presented himself. He went from being just an edgy, equal opportunity offending comedian to someone who believed himself to be smarter than everyone else around him. A pseudo-philosopher, if you will.
Are we willing to pay the price for our words to be valuable?
Now you could put that on a t-shirt and print it.
Maybe the success gave him the impression that it all happened because of his superior intellect, as suddenly he
Does anyone take Jordan Peterson seriously anymore? He just seems a little bit kooky to me. Yeah. Does anybody take that guy seriously? I kind of live in my own world, and if anything's on my radar, it's my interest, right? I don't really, I try to be as disconnected from the world as possible, and especially when they promote like music and entertainment for me. So like my hobbies, like the TV shows, the content that I like to watch, all of that is basically where I live. And unless I have some curiosity, or I'm listening to podcasts and they're like, oh, I heard this album, right? I have no idea really about any of it. And I remember when people started posting a lot of Jordan Peterson, and I said to myself, are you fucking serious? Right? And then you look at the guy. This is the thing. It's crazy. The most unmanly masculine men are always the ones telling you how to be a man, right? And I just couldn't take him seriously. And then I think I saw an article or maybe it was something on the news how like Jordan Peterson had like blown up to fame and he's got all the like generation of young men's attention. And I honestly couldn't believe it. And look, I know my opinions can come across that I'm better than everyone, or pretentious, or some of you guys have some amazingly choice words for it. But I'm not that. I'm just a regular old dude. You know, I'll talk shit if you come up against me and you know, or whatever, right? But I'm just a regular dude. And I've been fortunate in my career to be around some of these top things and see how real professionals that are real artists do things. And I guess if I were to describe what I'm doing is I'm trying to show you that this comedy, I mean, just look at TV, look at the movies, look at all of it. It's shit. There are good things. Don't get me wrong. There's great bands. I find great bands all the time, but they're not usually the ones they're promoting. The movies, the quality of movies, like a movie used to be an experience, and now it's just a choice in a menu on your TV screen. It's not, you know, they've cut it down, and you look at how they charge us more. Everything, they take more, they take more, they take more. Why don't you think they would find shortcuts in their entertainment process to make more money and to take from you? If they take from us in every other avenue, they're going to take from you. And if I were to describe what I'm doing is I'm trying to show you that the quality is terrible. The quality is absolute terrible. And I'm not saying I'm making great quality, right? I get it. You say the same, well, why don't you make your own content, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it. I know. This is all I got time to do. This is what I do, right? And I'm not claiming to be a top YouTuber or a top comedy. I give recognition, right, to the ones that are. But having worked in the industry, a creative industry, for most of my adult life and traveled the world doing it and working for some really great companies, I've seen magic on the camera. I've seen just amazing things. And what they're giving us today, it ain't that. Our dollar, you remember coming out the movies? I still remember seeing Independence Day for the first time. I don't know if it's a great movie if I watched it now, but back then, it was crazy seeing big spaceships on the big screen, like state-of-the-art technology back then. You know, they used to, even Independence Day, which is just a, you know, a very basic, not Oscar, but like visually. You know, I still remember visually just being like, whoa, they can do that in Hollywood? When was the last time you had one of those moments, you know? Anyways.
Became more arrogant and confrontational. Though, to be fair, he was never exactly the quiet type to begin with. However, it's not hard to see the difference between when he was making a joke at someone's expense for comedy, or just being mean because he thought of himself as better than them. A good example of the latter came when he was on the Full Send podcast with the Nelk Boys, where, instead of going with the flow, Andrew decided to make a scene by calling out Steiny for his lack of preparation for the pod.
You know,
What bothers you the most right now?
nothing.
Nothing bothers you?
You looking at your phone while we're doing this interview, and everybody's seeming disinterested.
Were you looking at notes or texting girls?
Notes.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Me taking time out of my day to do this, and then feeling
Dude,
like
I've never
I'm forcing
been-
you guys to do the podcast.
I've never been more
That's-
Yeah, I thought this moment here was just, man, Andrew was so crazy on this one. It's just like when somebody makes something uncomfortable. Like recently, so I was watching Below Deck, right? And they're on the boat, and there's this vegan on the boat. So the chef has to make more vegan. And all he's doing is complaining. He didn't even pay for the cruise. His friend brought him on it. He didn't even pay for the yacht, right? And all he's doing is complaining. And then this guy goes out of his way, makes all this stuff, all this vegan stuff, and makes this gorgeous vegan salad. And they go, do you want some? He's like, no. And then the chef leaves. He's like, and the first thing he says is, all of this stuff here is just like carbs and stuff. It's filling, but I need minerals. I need greens. And he just turned down a salad and he's making a scene because he needs attention. Right. And I feel like this is it. And then for him to be like, oh, I'm taking time out of my day. I guess he was pretty big back then. Well, I don't know, 2022. But Full Send was really big. And it's like, but they have you on their podcast, right? Back then, I think Full Send was pretty big.
Excited to do a podcast.
Say again?
I've never been more excited. I'm sorry. I had to
Don't
look at my notes.
apologize. You don't have to apologize. You asked me what annoyed me, and I gave you an honest answer.
Wait, are you being serious about that?
Yeah, that annoyed me.
Really?
Yes.
But that was only the beginning. Because as the situation went on, Andrew went from pointing out that he found the phone use annoying to straight up calling Steiny himself annoying.
A few like gambling sites.
I feel bad. I feel like you came at me a little bit there.
Why do you feel bad?
I just feel like you targeted me. Did you or no? Did someone tell you to do that?
No. I thought you were just being a little annoying.
How?
I think you're annoying.
Really?
A little bit. Yeah.
And as if that wasn't enough, he then switched on his philosopher persona and began trying to psychoanalyze Steiny right there with an impromptu therapy session.
No, just say how you honestly feel. Don't.
I feel good, bro. I think you're pretty funny.
You don't feel good. You don't feel good. You feel insecure right now because you think I don't like you.
I do feel that way.
Why do you think I don't like you?
Because you turned on me like probably like an hour 20 into the pod.
And was there anything that maybe you did to change my energy towards you? Or how about this? Do you think that I gave you a fair shot in the beginning?
You did, but I sent a text during the pod, and I think that's when it turned. Is
Right.
that when it turned?
Maybe. I don't know. Your line of questioning after that wasn't great. But I do sense that you're playing a bit of a character, and I don't have as much of a tolerance for characters as I do for authenticity.
In isolation.
You know, I don't think I've said this very often, but if you become famous or you know, you're making content on Instagram, TikTok, and you get a following or where you get attention, this is what I would say. Don't do interviews. Don't go on podcasts, you know, anything. If I ever, you know, make it big, the only way I would go on a podcast if it was absolutely a person that I thought was utterly amazing. Like the chef Marco Pierre White. I'd go on his podcast, you know, or like Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson has one of the most fascinating, incredible life stories. But other than that, like, no. And you get more popular by exposing yourself, but I'd rather just do that on my own, because you just never know people's attentions. And I don't think it was always this way. But certainly today, with all of this drama, like, this is what I cover. There's so much of it. I could at least make one video a day on it, right? That's how, and this is comedy, a scene that is a lot smaller. Go over and look at the video game streamer scene, which is 10,000 times bigger than comedy. And I know some of you guys are going to say no, but listen, video games are bigger than both the film and the music industry combined. I hate to break it to you, you people that make fun of video games, everybody plays them. Everybody plays them because it's one of the biggest entertainment industries in the world. Anyways, in the world. I said in the world. Okay? I don't even know what I was going to say. I totally lost my thought thinking about video games. Well, there we go. Marching on.
This could seem like nothing more than Andrew getting annoyed by Steiny and then deciding to take his frustrations out on air. After all, most Noke listeners are of the opinion that Steiny is irritating. The thing is, this type of
Don't do interviews. That's what it was. Damn. Damn, I'm getting older, dude. Shit just leaves my brain like that.
Confrontational behavior was starting to become a lot more common around this time, and there was good reason for that. You see, while he's never confirmed or denied the rumor, there's a good chance that Andrew hired a new marketing team around late 2021 to early 2022, since this was also around the time when massive sweeping changes began happening around the Flagrant podcast. For starters, he renamed the podcast to just Flagrant, likely to make it sound more professional, and also distance it from its sports-centric origin. The cast also went from mainly him and Akash to adding 2 more members, Mark Gagnon and Alex. But rather than add new dynamics to the show, these new additions also acting as yes men, laugh at and agree with everything Andrew Schulz has to say. Lastly, on the 25th of May 2022, Andrew also revealed the new, more professional looking studio.
Hey fellas, come in here. I'm just gonna answer the question right away. Too expensive. Too much. Okay? That's how much it was. Too much.
The podcast went from being sort of a passion project of a comedian looking to make people laugh to somehow similar to the late night show. This pivot towards more professional content could also be seen in things like the thumbnails, which all of a sudden became a lot cleaner and coherent. This shift helped Andrew reach a more mainstream audience and obtain an unprecedented level of success. However, while this rebrand was great for views, it also had negative effects of turning Andrew even more egotistical. More importantly, this wasn't an Ellen DeGeneres situation where the toxic behavior was reserved for behind the camera. Instead, Andrew's problematic side was out in the open for his viewers to see. And there's no better example of this change than his episode with his longtime friend Whitney Cummings from April of 2023. Now, Whitney doesn't have the best reputation in the comedy community. A lot of people find her annoying and her routines unfunny. And with the way Andrew acted during her second round on Flagrant, she came off looking like a saint, or at least the solitary adult in the room. Because just 15 seconds into the episode, Andrew was already making fun of her facial expressions by comparing her to a dog.
Here's the thing about stuff like this is, you know, if you're you know, doing podcasts or entertainment in some way, you'll play things up, you'll be a little more, or you'll do things, play things up to create drama and stuff like that, right? You're an entertainer, right? But when you act like a real asshole, it does not come off good. And Andrew, you know, there's a lot of things people call narcissist that really aren't. But one of the things that I believe, right, in a narcissist is you can't stop yourself from being an asshole, and you probably can't even see that you're being an asshole. They're so compelled to feed their ego, say the thing that nobody says, or call somebody out or embarrass them, right, in front of people. And they're so driven by that need to do that and not think about people in the room, other people's feelings. And I think Andrew has that because he just doesn't care. And there's another video that I'm going to do that that'll prove that to you. Trust me. I would consider Andrew a real narcissist. I know people on the internet use that for every joke, but I don't use words liberally like that. And I think in this case, it's absolutely true because he's still doing that despite his viewership leaving, all of these things going down. Andrew is still continuing to be an asshole.
No, you just said that I didn't watch any of the roast.
No, I just.
Is that what you just said?
I just said.
What did you just say? That I didn't watch 1 minute of the roast.
No, I said I sent you a link and.
Just tell me what you said. Don't do the golden retriever outside the car window on the highway face. Let's just talk to each other.
I love that you just called me a dog.
Whitney initially tried to banter with Andrew so they could move on and keep things light, but Andrew kept bringing up her looks and facial expressions over and over again.
When you think I'm setting you up for something, you do this thing where you're like this.
No, this is just how I look best in the light. I'm getting older, Andrew.
What's going on?
Why
do you look at me with these faces like it's difficult?
She can't control that.
Is listening hard for you? This is what it looks like when you're listening. This is you listening, right? This is you. I'm not talking. What do I do with my face while the other people talk?
She's been hanging out with the Whitney robot too long. That's what it is.
That's the problem.
Let's be honest. I don't even know what the point of these two is. I have no idea what the point of them being on the show is. Absolutely no. They contribute nothing of value. I would say the same for Gosh. I don't know why he's on the show. But here's the thing. These three guys sitting there during all of this asshole behavior over the years, that says a lot about them too. When you're younger, like I've made tons of mistakes, been a jerk. I've traveled a road, right? And when you're younger, like you got to learn this. Becoming an adult is hard. Your 20s are really hard because you're trying to figure out and you're trying to impress and blah. And I understand. But if you're still at Andrew's age and you're still belittling people, putting people down, and a lot of you could just look at your manager for an example, right? It's just really sad. It's just really sad that, look, my thing, the way I handle things is if I don't like somebody, if I had a confrontation, right, or something, and this person is bad for my life, you will never see me again. Never. Unless it's by accident. Things that are bad for me, I'm done. And this isn't like some, like TikTok quote moment. This is the truth. You have to learn to get bad things out of your life. Things that are potential chaos for you, you can't keep messing with them. And so when you act like this, like you're the smartest guy in the room and everyone thinks you're the biggest asshole in the room and you don't realize it your entire life, that is just a waste because people secretly hate you. They may not say it because you employ them to sit on that couch, but they secretly hate you. And I have another video that is going to show you that Akash actually hates Andrew Schulz. Well, for what he did in this moment.
This is how you age. They're too reactive when you're listening.
Not this moment.
Right
Another
now,
one.
trying to not do it.
I
And
know,
you're
now
just
I'm kind
pursing your lips like this.
I know. I'm just like.
This is how you listen, right? You just go like this.
Even when the conversation had ventured into something completely unrelated, Andrew somehow found a way to bring it back to her appearance.
Dude, I love doing corporate gigs because it's also like, it's a big business, I think, for more like female comics. Because, like being a stand-up as a woman, it's not a business. It's not a viable.
Can
Yeah.
you tell us how hard it is? Like,
I'm not saying it's.
Okay. What is it? What is it with people making podcasts and showing their ankles? I just can't. Buy some socks. These guys with little kid legs are always the ones showing off their ankles. I mean, here's the thing. Oh, I don't want to say that. Okay, I'm going to say it this way. You gotta work on yourself, right? And you gotta, your legs, they get you from place to place. They allow you the ability to stand up. You gotta put a little bit interest into them. You gotta give them a little bit of love, a little bit of attention. When they look as skinny as this lighter, that's no good. Okay? Come on, treat your legs with a little bit of care. Get them, do the calf raises. That was a pretty nice way of saying it, wasn't it? You see, I've been talking about all this progress and you just watched it live. God damn it.
Tell us how hard it is to be a female comic. Like, that's what we love to listen to.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's hard to be
It's so tough on the road.
No, it's not what I said. What are you
Guys
doing?
trying to tell you to go back to the hotel.
No,
This is so different than being a woman anywhere else in life. How is being a comic on the road any different than just going out to a bar? I always hear this from female comics. They're like, guys always try to go back to your hotel. And it's like, look at the face again. You're listening again. You put on your listening face.
Words in my mouth.
I'd rather you look at me and just think about like a dog bone. Just think about a bone. Just think about a bone. Think about your happy face, and then look like this when I'm talking to you.
It was getting ridiculous at this point, and despite her best efforts to mask the uncomfortable atmosphere with forced laughter, it wasn't long before Whitney felt compelled to call the group out directly.
You know, LAPD, I mean, their whole thing is like, you don't really need, like, you know, a BB gun I have loaded, but if you have a gun, like, that solves half of your problem.
I feel like you're having 4 different conversations with yourself right now.
You know what? First of all, how dare you? I came in here, I'm being attacked by you mother. I'm trying.
To make matters worse, during the second half of the podcast, Andrew thought it'd be a good idea to turn this one into an impromptu therapy session as well.
Despite all the fucked up shit that you went through in your life, despite these fucked up relationships you grew up with.
Couldn't be happier.
No, not about happy. Despite all those things that could interrupt your ability to be loved and love people, you got a lot of people who love you.
Well, I think that the key, and my best friend, Nikki.
Don't explain it.
Told me.
Don't explain it.
If you're going to get your heart broken.
Don't explain it.
Just take it in.
Just take it in.
But I agree.
Stop trying to science it.
But what do you want me to say, though?
Stop being a nerd with your
facts.
facts.
Don't say anything.
Just take it in.
Don't
Just
be a
hear
nerd
it.
with your facts.
However, the most infuriating moment of the podcast came near the end.
Now this is a fucking wild take that the guys don't really appreciate.
I think it's sorry. Can I say something about
No,
Nepo
I
Baby?
was in the middle of a sentence.
I know, but if we're moving on.
but we're not moving on. It's
But
about
do-
this.
okay.
It's about this.
The fact that Andrew kept interrupting her for the past 2 hours and then had this reaction when she tried to say something was wild, to say the least. But once this podcast made its way to YouTube, the viewers wholeheartedly agreed. Not a Whitney fan, but Andrew was absolutely insufferable. Big props to Whitney for being more mature than 4 guys on their period. I never experienced secondhand embarrassment, but this brought me to the brink. The episode also received a noticeable amount of dislikes, largely because of how Andrew behaved. But unfortunately,
you know, you see a lot of these videos that'll be like, you know, they got destroyed by the fans and stuff. And when I'm looking for things to watch or make a claim, I really look to make sure, right? I saw one of those claims in a news article about something the other day with comedy, and it was like, the fans destroyed whatever it was. And I went and looked, and they had like 3 comments in the articles. And then I went and searched it on Twitter, and those were the only 3 comments. And I was all, you got to fact check things. You really got to do. So, and I only remind me because he put up 3 comments, and I was like, did they? And then you see the likes to that video were 17K and the dislikes were 4.2. So, make of it what you will, but yeah, you got to look at those things.
for his fans, this was far from the last time he'd act this way with a guest. And while there's no way for us to confirm whether this was always part of Andrew's personality, and he never got the chance to be himself before, or if this was something he picked up after letting his success get to his head, what we do know for sure is that this douchey persona became a core part of his presence from this point onward, and manifested in many different forms. Take the Logan Paul appearance in August 2023. Now, Logan had already appeared on the Flagrant podcast before in June 2022. However, a quick look at the difference in dislikes between the 2 episodes shows that something went horribly wrong on his second appearance. One of the biggest issues people had with this new episode was that Andrew, despite presenting himself as someone willing to speak his mind, did not bring up the CryptoZoo controversy, which has been a main center of the conversation around Logan Paul's name, not even once during the nearly 2-hour podcast. As a top comment under the video put it, Andrew not getting into the scam is unacceptable. Given Logan's reputation at the time, and
do you see why these interviews and these podcast things, they're bad for the interviewer too? Because people, when you bring someone onto your podcast that's controversial like Logan Paul, people have expectations. And Andrew, because at the time, it was one of the biggest things. You saw CoffeeZilla did a huge thing. Now he's in court. I don't know if he still is, but he was with Logan Paul for that stuff. And it's just like, it's no good. Just do your own show. You ain't got to talk to nobody. No. I wouldn't even do Oprah. Who would do Oprah in the first place? God, she is insufferable.
inviting him on the podcast was certainly a choice. What made this even more weird, however, was how Andrew spent almost the entire episode not only sucking up to Logan, but also weirdly groping him repeatedly.
Oh, I'd be on Jerry Springer. I would like to be a guest that sits in the front row. Dude, man, Jerry Springer. Jerry. They just don't make it like that anymore.
By the way, thanks for having me, guys. I love you guys.
Welcome
it's always
back.
a good time
Great
kicking
to
it with
have
the
you, too.
boys.
You're doing great.
Thanks. Yeah, bro, I wasn't engaged. Now I'm engaged.
Yo, you are, dude. I'm engaged. I'm putting the gay in engaged. Be serious. Come on, let me squeeze your arms again. Be serious, bro. Come on.
He can't get nothing.
The whole thing was strange, with people pointing it out in the comments.
Did you see how Logan react there? And he just let it happen. I'm not the only one that's hey, rewind it. He just laid back and he gave Andrew his arm, just like, take it.
I've never seen Andrew glaze someone this hard. It's actually embarrassing how soft this was. And even calling out Andrew for his hypocrisy, stating, has a problem with Steiny being fake, but not Logan. LOL. Great judge of character, Andrew. It's pretty weird to me that Schulz was okay with clowning on that Steiny kid for being fake, but then doesn't call out a real scumbag like Logan. On the complete flip side, one guest that Andrew and his gang annoyed in a whole different way was DJ Academics in December 2023, who also isn't the most beloved figure on the internet. But as we've seen from Whitney in Logan's appearances, Andrew somehow ended up making himself look like the worst person in the room. It was almost as if he forgot there was a guest in the room and kept interrupting him with irrelevant questions and tangents.
I'm in London. I go to London for the first time.
Yeah. How was it?
London was kind of cool. It's definitely not America, though.
Why don't you?
No, shit. God damn. Yo, Ack, you on it, bro.
Ack, sometimes you're the most brilliant person that I've ever met.
Thank you.
And sometimes you be saying some.
Hey, if you don't have to live there, I mean, I haven't been to London in like a decade. But London with the train from Heathrow, I mean, the train ride from one side to the other is like an hour. I mean, London is a good time. A real good time, especially if you haven't been there. There's so much to do. Even though the locals, you know, there's so much good food, the parks. I love walking through the city, catching the train, you know? Like there's just so much good stuff. I don't know what it's like now, but England's great in general. England's great in general. Most of Europe is great in general. Real great. I love being in Europe. I lived there half my life. I love it. I love it there.
Shit that absolutely makes me side with Saucy.
What?
That right there made me side with Saucy for a moment.
How?
You said London ain't America.
I mean, that's like an obvious.
I call him Novak's Kyrie.
that's what we call him 2K. Anyway. So I'm in London. Diddy had previously hit me up to say, hey, listen, stop killing my side chick.
Basketball nicknames. Earl Monroe, Earl the Pearl, Black Jesus.
Academics showed his patience and let them finish their tangents before trying to continue his story, but got interrupted once again.
Come on, stop playing. Anyway, so I'm in. Oh, this all makes sense.
Fast talking out. Fast talking out. I love that.
He's good.
No, stop.
This guy's good.
No.
This guy's good.
I gotta say the story, okay?
Say the story, bro.
Check this out. So I'm in London.
Yeah.
London's cool, great vibes. Okay,
Yeah.
I love the taxi cabs where you can face the other person you're with in the car. Cool. Now, one night I'm trying to go out. Okay. Now they tell me I love Afrobeats. They're like, yo, we go to Afrobeat spot. But also, what happened is Diddy's in town. Never met Diddy. Never been around him.
Are you excited to meet Diddy?
I wasn't trying to meet Diddy. I usually.
Why not?
Here's my thing. I stay away from these industry models. You know why?
I've had people literally tell me they avoid Diddy prior to all of this.
No, I avoid everybody in the
friends.
industry.
I'd be like, yeah, I don't f with Diddy. Like, I don't want to do anything with Diddy.
And to say that his viewers were not happy about this would be an understatement. Dan, this reminds me of trying to talk to a group of people on coke. Just constant interruptions and speaking over each other. Ack handled this well.
So
Andrew
annoying.
was driving me crazy.
Unless
Huge
you're on
respect to Ack for being able to maintain his composure
That is still
in what
annoying.
seems like a fairly annoying situation, dealing with an obnoxious jackass. With one disappointed viewer, even sharing the terrible experience they've been having with the podcast in general, stating, "This podcast for me has gone from me not being able to miss an episode to not being able to watch for more than 10 minutes. Their egos have got completely out of control, and it's basically turned into 4 douchebags who just love to sit there smelling each other's farts and act completely fake. They really don't seem interested in the guests anymore and seem more interested in what each other think. However, if constantly talking over their guests wasn't bad enough, Andrew decided to do something that would be classified as a straight up crime. About 3 hours into the podcast, while Academics was telling a different story, Andrew reached out in front of him and grabbed a pack of Zins from Mark. However, while consuming them himself is one thing, Andrew took it a step further and began pressuring Academics into trying one as well.
Apparently one of them is about to be passed out.
Try one of these.
What is this? That's some weed shit. I'm good.
It's not weed. It's a Zin.
It's nicotine.
Oh, hell no.
Even when academics insisted he already had an addictive personality and doesn't want any more chemical dependencies than the Henny he drinks, Andrew kept pushing him to give it a try.
It's not about a hook. You won't get hooked.
Oh, hell no. I'm good.
It's like a dip.
No,
just
no, no.
try it.
No,
Will you just try it?
I got addictive personality for real, for real.
This is not going to make you addicted.
No. Like, I have a really addictive, you see, whatever you're doing right there, you're going to see me like with a mouthful of acorns, my nigga. We're not doing this shit. You're not about to go get me like, nah, we're not doing this.
Just try it.
Nah, I can't do it, brother.
You can literally take it out a second afterwards. You're not going to feel anything.
Hell no.
Just try one.
No, I can't do it, brother. I can't do it, bro.
Just try the white boy shit for one. Why are you so afraid? We drink.
By the way he was behaving, it almost felt like Andrew was sponsored by Zyn, but there is no such disclosure in the video or its description. Whatever is the case, he was pressuring academics to risk getting hooked on one of the hardest substances to quit, just for the fun of it. Of course, not all guests are willing to take his egotistical behavior though. Some, like Shane Gillis, are more than happy to call him out when he goes too far.
Yeah, that's wild. These guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They're having fun.
Yeah.
For you guys to sit here and be like,
wait a minute.
Let's bring it up and mock them. That's dude. That's a dude. By using them as an insult.
Using?
Yeah.
We're using you.
So you're insulting them by saying I look like them? Or you're insulting me by saying I look like them?
This is you back in your victim thing.
No, I'm not being a victim. I'm saying the jokes you're doing is not, it's not like...
It's not PC?
That's not cool.
Shane has family members.
See, here's the thing, is the Rogan sphere, right, claims they don't do things like this. You even have people that you could consider Shane in the Rogan sphere calling you out for it on camera. You know, it's just... I don't understand how the Rogan sphere got this far, guys. I just don't... I don't understand it at all. I don't know how much shit gets popular. I think we're all just we have like tubes in the back of our neck and they're just force feeding us shit constantly. I think a lot of the luster of life has been taken out with all just the control of everything, man. I think a lot of the luster of life is gone.
Members with Down syndrome and personally understands their struggles. So while he has used people with the condition as part of his jokes before, his depiction comes from a place of love and understanding, which is why he almost always tries to highlight how people with that disorder are still people who have wants and feelings like the rest of us. Andrew and his squad, on the other hand, only brought up videos with people with Down syndrome doing normal things to make fun of them, and that was enough to force Shane to speak up. Shane also called out Andrew for making the most basic observations, then acting like he was the smartest guy in the room for saying them out loud, or as he coined it, the Schulz epiphany.
I love Schulz epiphanies.
What are you talking about?
Schulz epiphanies are my favorite.
Yo.
He repeats his statement. He's like,
That's crazy though. It's true.
Schulz epiphanies.
And the audience agreed. I haven't watched Flagrant 2 in a while. These dudes take themselves so seriously now. Everything is an epiphany with a deep meaning. Sadly, this did little to Andrew's rapidly inflating ego and warped sense of reality. And as he kept going unchecked by his yes men, this eventually resulted in a single comment of his turning into a months-long beef involving one of the biggest hip-hop stars on the planet. It all started in July 2024, when he invited Fouad and James from the Shits and Gigs podcast on his show. And while talking about dating, the topic of the black girlfriend effect came up. This was a trend on TikTok, where black women shared how their partners changed for the better after meeting them. Andrew, however, had a completely different take on the matter, essentially labeling all black women as abusive.
Wait, what is the black girlfriend effect? This is
you don't know about
glow
this.
up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up. Glows up, bro.
Yeah, I like that. They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends, they
grow a
step,
beard
they step
because
their dick
there's
up.
more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out. That's hilarious. I think the black girlfriend effect. It might be a protective instinct, bro.
Now, I have already covered this drama in great detail, so here's a quick summary, as this is a big part of why Andrew is so hated today. Some might see this as nothing more than a joke, but many in the black community didn't see it that way, with viewers speaking out about it in the comments almost immediately. As a black woman, the stuff Andrew was saying about the black girlfriend effect was racist. He made it completely about the angry black woman trope. Can we not rest? But that wasn't all. Because after asking the pair if they preferred white women or black women when dating, he mentioned Kendrick, since this was in the middle of his feud with Drake.
Do you guys have you ever had black girlfriends?
Yeah.
Have you ever had white girls?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. What's your favorite?
We love them all.
Yeah.
Oh really?
We love them all.
Yeah.
That means white.
Yo, who gets
that means white.
Hey, let me get a US translation.
Kendrick fans, get him!
This was likely the reason why this moment reached Kendrick himself, because one of his next songs included the line that said, "Don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman, that's law." To which he responded by first calling Kendrick a hypocrite, as objectification of women is not an uncommon sight in hip-hop.
Listen, nobody has respected women more. Through art.
Yes.
Than rappers. Okay?
Absolutely.
So I completely understand how a rapper could look at a comedian telling a joke and be like, yo, y'all need to switch that shit up.
Yeah.
How dare y'all keep saying your wives are annoying?
See, here's the thing with the way that Andrew addresses these things. There's certain people that have to deal with this drama and they address it on the internet and they address it lighthearted, like stuff, lighthearted with laughs. Like there's moments to be serious in life, but they're very few, right? To take things this seriously, right? He comes off. Point being, sorry, terrible with words today. Point being, or every day. Point being, you can always tell how offended Andrew Schulz is by the way he acts in these things. He is coming off offended and also coming off a little bit wrong. If you didn't know anything about the situation, you listen to him, you would think he is wrong. And, I don't know why Andrew Schulz doesn't understand that hating on women, right, doesn't really get you anywhere. And here's the thing. You have all these Rogan Sphere fans, right? You have all these Rogan Sphere fans that will back these guys, that will promote the hate of women, that'll say this, women are evil and all that, and they'll all sit in a room and they'll cheer each other on. Watch a woman walk into that room and say, hey, you want to come with me? Every guy would get up and leave. I always look at people that hate on women, not specific ones, but like women in general. I don't know if I want to say what I think about them, but I think they got a lot of their own problems.
Be more like us.
But then, he undercut his own argument by claiming that Kendrick included that one verse about Andrew for clout, followed up by him essentially threatening to R-word Kendrick.
This is the thing that is
that was crazy.
It's like, first of all, Kendrick's people and the gang affiliate, everybody, his security, they will kill me. They will destroy me. They'll find me in the street. They'll fucking cut me up. They'll shoot me. They'll do whatever. I'm not a tough guy. Y'all do. But just Kendrick, I would make love to him. And there's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him. And the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not. That's the only thing he could do. If it's me and Kendrick, this is about physics. It's about physics. I don't even know if I'll get hard. But if we're in a cell, there's a chance that if we're in a cell and we're bored and we done tattooing each other, whatever you do in the cell, and we ran out of board games and we did all the other things, we cleaned everything, and I'm like, man, I might as well you.
At this point, it's not even trying to be funny. The only person laughing at this joke was Akash, who, as a comment puts it, must be getting paid by the laugh with the way that he cracks up at everything Schulz says. The same Akash who once crashed out over one person not laughing at his jokes.
There is no way your left hand is more interesting than what we're doing up here for an hour. You clearly want to go home. I don't know why the f*** and leave already. This guy's sitting here picking his calluses on his hand for 10 minutes. Just go. Who gives a f***? And then I just f***ing lost it. I was like, with all my jokes, this guy, he deserved it. I don't know if we put this out because it's so mean, but he deserved it.
They keep telling us they don't get offended and they don't act super sensitive and they don't hate criticism, right? But they just keep filming it and putting it on the internet. to prove themselves wrong. I mean, I remember this. This is just like wild. You have to go into it. I say this a lot. You either ignore the hate because it is mandatory. If you do something and you put it out into the world, it is mandatory. Now, you could have more or less hate, right? But you're gonna get it because you know what? People have a million different fucking opinions and tastes and likes and desires and wants, and you ain't gonna satisfy all of them, right? And you gotta just do that. Or if you're on YouTube, you troll them in the comments back, you get them all fired up so you can get your algorithm going. You talk shit to them back. You meet them at the same level just to promote your algorithm. Or just because sometimes you just gotta let it happen. You just gotta talk some shit back. They deserve it. They come to your page, well, they opened the door. I didn't, so I'm gonna walk right on through and kick you in the nuts. That's the way to look at it. Or with a little bit of humor. This stuff, you can't get offended by it. You just can't. I just don't know why these guys get so offended. Well, I can understand it because everyone's telling them they're not funny. So, well, that whole 2 minutes, that was unnecessary. My bad.
Fun, to be honest with you. I had a good time. How is this more polite than just getting up and walking out? Guy thinks he's funnier than me. Brits, dude. I'm so glad that bitch died. So glad that died.
At the end of the day, this only made Andrew look even worse due to his unhinged response, further destroying his already declining reputation, particularly within the hip-hop community, who had been growing increasingly wary of him in recent years as he stepped out of Charlemagne's shadows.
Well, I think that's Rosenberg's point, is that's Andrew Schultz's whole MO. Is he has, so he can make these jokes, he has black people or people of color sitting there so he can make these jokes.
Right.
Which is why Kendrick Lamar is...
Got on them.
And
by the way, it's not just Kendrick Lamar. Like, Kendrick is the one who said that line, but the truth is, bubbling under the surface, there have been people for a long time being like, why is everyone okay with this dude and people of his ilk saying the things that he says? This man has never cared for, crafted for, done anything for the culture. This is a guy who just makes jokes and makes money and was given a pass by Charlemagne. They used each other and sat next to each other, and now he says loose things, talking about things like Kendrick Lamar. That was what your reply was in the moment to the most popular, in this moment, the most popular black artist in the world, in this moment, was talking about him. That was the joke that you thought that was the play?
And speaking of unhinged.
Yo, should I get into the hip-hop community? Dude, I could do it. I think I could do it. I know you guys are going to doubt me. I'm not saying I'm a rapper, but I know a lot about hip-hop. I do. I know the words to "Who the fuck is this? Paging me at 5:46 in the morning, crack of dawning, now I'm yawning, wipe the coal from my eyes, see who's paging me, and why, and what." I'm not going to say the next word, because that's not my word.
There's someone else Andrew randomly decided to go after for absolutely no reason. Jeff Wittek. For some context, Jeff Wittek is a former member of David Dobrik's Vlog Squad. His time with Dobrik ended in June 2020, when Dobrik pressured him into doing a stunt with an excavator. The plan was to hang him by the machine and spin him around while surrounded by water. However, due to his lack of experience with operating heavy machinery, Dobrik accelerated the excavator too fast, causing Jeff to slam into it at full speed. Jeff's injuries included a fractured skull, a fractured left eye socket, a broken hip and foot, torn ligaments in his leg, and much more. He's since gone through countless surgeries, but still isn't fully recovered to this day. However, instead of recognizing that this tragedy was caused by the negligence of Dobrik, like everyone else on the internet, Andrew decided to be a contrarian and went straight to victim blaming instead. As a result, completely undermining the years of pain and suffering Jeff went through.
Isn't Jeff Wittek the crying? Is he still crying about?
Bro, if your friend wants you to do a stunt with big machinery, don't do it. Don't. I was just looking at that. I couldn't believe they did that. I couldn't believe the dude got up there, and I couldn't believe they even thought of that. That just looks stupid. And my first thought is that dude's going to hit the grain. That's just physics. You know? If he don't do that just right, if you don't have someone that knows how to accelerate that thing right, you're going to get the old huck and chuck.
Why is that guy still fucking crying about that? I got hit by a crane and I'm blind now. It's like, get over it. But seriously, why is he still whining about that? What's the deal?
I guess he like went blind or almost blind from it.
But now he's not blind, right?
I'm not sure. I think he has to keep going through more surgeries, but I don't know the stats.
So David Dobrik knocked him with a crane or something?
I guess. I don't know.
Spun him around on a crane.
But he agreed to do it?
Yeah, but he didn't know how fast it was going to go.
Oh, that's a good excuse. Well, if it was going to go 10 miles per hour, I would have done it. I didn't know it was going to go 20. You knew you were going to do some dumb, dangerous shit, and then something bad happened. Yeah. The only reason we're watching is because we hope something bad happens.
It's true. This showed just how heartless and out of touch Andrew had become, and his viewers were quick to take notice. The way he spoke about Jeff complaining really shows how terrible.
Bro, yeah, that's crazy, dude. That guy, I don't know how you could do something like that. It's stupid. Like, that would, I don't even know why they even did that. That has bad news. You remember how I told you, if it looks dangerous, don't do it. Just go ahead and, yep, that's for somebody else. That's what you gotta live. Like, when you can do that stuff when you're young, but I don't know how you're the guy with the YouTube, you get the show, you convince them to do something really stupid, and then that guy is like messed up for a long time. I don't know how this story, I don't watch that stuff. I don't know how it ends, but how horrific of a human being do you have to be to essentially make a person different? They're never going to be the same after that moment, and you have no sympathy for it. That guy can't see. How could you not be absolutely heartbroken over your actions? Or ashamed? And Andrew, I expect this from Andrew. He's a narcissist. You shouldn't say that. I couldn't, dude. Bro. The world's getting crazy.
Of a human being he is, especially because there's absolutely nothing funny about it, literally making me feel sick. Hearing Andrew talk about Jeff Wittick like that, ultimately adding even more fuel to the fire by burning down what remained of the goodwill people once had towards him. And while the examples we've covered so far are mostly from his podcast, Andrew has messed up stuff outside of it as well. Like back in 2020, when his ex-girlfriend Sarah made some disturbing allegations against Andrew, accusing him of things like verbal abuse, manipulation, and supremely controlling behavior. She even claimed that, for some bizarre reason, Andrew was cleaning the bottoms of his shoes with her toothbrush. Andrew ignored these allegations when they first came out, but they resurfaced again in December of 2024. However, the person who posted them again mistakenly put Sarah as 16 when she was dating a 30-plus-year-old Andrew.
It got swept under the
Andrew
rug.
took this opportunity and only refuted the incorrect age.
They looked at the ages and they're like, oh, she's 29 years old still. And they're like, oh, she must have been 16 when they're dating. I go, 16? I was on 5 shows on MTV when we were dating. How am I in a public relationship with a 16-year-old? I go, look, there's her on X Factor saying she's 23. And I'm like, wait a minute, this girl's lying about her age. They believed the lie. Now they're posting it trying to turn me into
But by conveniently ignoring the bulk of the allegations, some felt that there might be some truth to them. That said, without any concrete proof, this is all nothing but speculation. However, there's no denying the worst crime he committed against his own fans back in 2022. In July of that year, Andrew came out with a statement that he was going to make a comedy special that an unnamed streaming service acquired from him. But when they saw the footage, they wanted him to make a lot of changes to the material. Unsurprisingly, he didn't want to do that. So he bought the special back and was now going to sell it as pay-per-view directly through his website. But since he wanted to create some hype around this special that he was spending his own money on, he claimed that the tickets would only be available for 2 weeks. Now, this was just before his peak, allowing him to earn back his investment in a matter of days, something he bragged about on his podcast.
What's up, guys? Listen, a lot of you guys have been reaching out to see how I did with the special. You know, we just got the numbers back, and a lot of you have been asking, you know, if I made my money back, and I did not. I made 3 times my money back.
However, what should have been a unique one and done experience for his fans started smelling fishy when, despite earning millions, Andrew decided to extend the purchasing limit for 2 more weeks. But that was only the tip of the iceberg, because less than a month after hundreds of thousands of fans paid to see the special, he did the unthinkable and put it up on YouTube for free. This made the fans who paid for it feel betrayed and lied to. And to make matters worse, the YouTube version also included a sponsor segment, which was from a gambling company.
All right, hold on, guys. I got to speak to the people at home real quick. Listen, I know a few things are different here, okay? The hair, I'm even married now. Ignore that. We got to talk about important shit, all right? And that's you thinking you found a way around the system. You're sitting there watching this on YouTube going, I didn't even have to buy the special. Not so fast. You're gonna support, okay? And you're gonna do that by gambling with the best gambling platform.
It's rare to see a comedian sink so low, lying straight to the faces of his most.
Remember we made that gambling video the other day? I mean, folks, we are not wrong here. They are doing everything we say they are. It's just crazy.
Loyal fans who got him to where he is, because once you start taking them for granted, it's a slippery slope to say the least. This, combined with everything we've discussed before, has slowly turned Andrew into one of, if not the most, hated comedians of this era. Sure, there wasn't one big controversy that sank his career, and to some extent, he is still making enough to keep the show going. But the way things are headed, Andrew Schulz is on a path to complete irrelevancy. Even today, he's doing things like acting flabbergasted and angry at Trump for his statements on the Epstein files, all without taking any accountability for giving Trump a major platform during the elections, going as far as to do mental gymnastics to still somehow justify Trump's behavior.
You know, I do a thing called a weave. Yeah. And there are those that are fair that say, this guy is so genius. And then others would say, oh, he rambled. I don't ramble. If I saw the story, what you do is you weave things and you do it. You have to have certain things. You need an extraordinary memory because you have to come back to where you started. Yes. You always, a weave is only good if you come back.
They don't give you credit for that.
Yeah, it's true.
Then you can go all the way over here and then get back.
I can go so far here or there. And I can come back to exactly where I started. Now, someday when you don't come back to where you started,
you're Biden.
Then you say, no, but the weave is the way. When you're telling like a story, I was telling a story at a rally the other day in front of thousands of people, and I started off, and then
you were weaving
something in the story. I actually mentioned Air Force One. It was Air Force One was there, so I mentioned Air Force One, and then I said how I got $1.6 billion off the price of Air Force One. So, but then you have to come back to the story. Where was Air Force One taking you? So anyway,
at this point, Andrew seems too far gone to ever realize the error of his ways. But in the unlikely event that he does, there's enough people still watching to get him back on top again. Otherwise, he'll likely keep declining until eventually, the internet as a whole has moved on from him entirely.
There you go. Uh-oh. Asmongold popped up. More of the story. Let me think what you think. Let me know. Let me think what you think. Wait. Let me know what you think in the comments. The decline of Andrew Schulz is still going. Peace.